Hey. Okay. Hi. How are you? We're alive. Okay. I am having a very productive day. I hope you are too. It's important that when you get into that super flow, when you get into that you're in that direction, you're in that momentum, you're in the zone that you're able to just allow yourself to be there to do that. Life is life, okay? And things are going to come up and things are going to happen around you. That's fine. That's completely normal. There's no point in getting all bunched up about it. That's how it goes. But if you have the opportunity to make it easy on yourself in whatever shape or form that you can, to just be able to get back into that flow, figure out whatever those short steps are that just lets you step back into that mode, so rewarding. I've been finding myself to just dial in lately, and I'm very appreciative for all the people that are coming out and engaging and interacting, and how you assist me in that. You assist me in that endeavor, in the sense that by being able to sit down with one another and openly talk about things and openly figure out the what motivates us and what inspires us, and those sort of ideas that we have along the way, and the creative process, and to assess and the things that you're aware of and how they might benefit others, and and then I like to hear about the things that you've got to say to me. There's so many cool new things that I find out all the time. It just sort of helps a person stay in that flow, stay in that energetic direction. Metaphysical or what, eh? Chris is deep today, kids. Look out. I don't know that that's necessarily deep, but the point is that the engagement, the interaction with others, really helps you do that. I got a topic up today. Oh boy, here we go. Yeah, the topic's pretty straightforward. The trending art direction is not real. Is my big topic today. So before I get into it, if anybody sees that and that immediately inspires some juicy tidbits of thought inside your noggin, spit them out like hot fire. We'd love to hear it. Just a statement of a thing alone sometimes makes your brain go, hey, hold on, right? And that really counts. That's important, because just a comment, just a statement or something, from the perspective of a person who makes things, makey, is conducive to just setting a fire under somebody else, or setting a fire in their thought processes. And I'm pretty sure people know what my perspective or my angle on that is, because it's clearly about. Are you ready? Deep breaths. Do your own thing. It's the same thing I advocate all the time. Whatever the trending thing is, it's probably not your jam. It's probably not your secret sauce for your dish of choice. I think that the trending situation, while it may be hot and popular and everybody's talking about it, everybody's in an uproar, or everybody's doing the same thing, and everybody wants to be the same, have the same career trajectory or whatever it is, it doesn't always mean that it's the right thing. I think it's really important for people to be allowing themselves to pursue whatever that draw, that gut instinct that you feel inside of you, that mode of working, that the topics of interest, or the self discovery process you might be going on in your creative journey, or the you're using your creative journey for expressing your political viewpoint in the world, and it's a way for you to put down some more cohesive thought on something in a way that you can never really do verbally. I completely understand those things, because jibber jabber yapper. But it's a tricky thing. It's a tricky thing. So that's my point. That's the point I'm starting with is, if there's one thing that my godfather taught me, it's you got to do your thing. You got to get up, get on up, do your thing, man. Or woman, person. All right. Somebody's already said something. I'm sorry. Hey, it's Philip Chandler, everybody. Good afternoon, Philip. Hey, thanks very much, sir. This is a really fun page, and I took a left turn on this page because, of course, the quick and easy thought on a page, the suggestion is the Universal Monsters. Hold on a second. Let me get the proper one-page suggestion out. I always do this. Horror monsters doing the Brady Bunch theme. So I went with the Universal Monsters, and because they're fun, I like them. And so the quick and easy approach to this, of course, is going to be dun 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 dun, dun, and here's the characters, and you're doing the theme song, and you're slightly altering it to have the gothic undertone and to to describe the individual monsters as opposed to something, like it's just too direct, as opposed to trying to invest a little bit more than that. So I have that in there. I do have that in there because it's you have to include it. But the way I do it is the characters are all stereotypes of family members, and then I describe my assessments of the characters. A really rather unfair one, but it's also an assessment of the characters, Universal Monsters, that are made to represent each of the Brady kids in the television program. So there's when I say troublemaking square for the Frankenstein monster, I'm talking about Peter. He's always hall monitor and squeaky voice guy. And hey, listen, is that the right thing to do? Like there's just wonderful subjective viewpoint that he helped he helped facilitate a generation of kids trying to understand good and bad behavior. But at the same time, man, that kid he had some square situations. I might be in the underclass to this, but I really liked the two Brady Bunch films that came out. I think they're in the 90s. I really got a kick out of those. I thought they were pretty funny, and they just sort of really overly emphasized every single trope or every single stereotype of the show, and just capitalized it to the extreme. And the first joke, I think, out of the bat is, Tiger, where is that dog? Just like a deep cut right off the hop, because they had a dog in the pilot, and they never had a dog again. Or in the first episode, I think. Not necessarily the pilot, but the first episode. And you don't see that dog anymore, or maybe you do. I think it occasionally appears throughout the show. The kids are washing the dog today, but you never think about or hear about the dog any other time. And I just thought that was a funny way for those films. And then the fact that they set it in modern times, and yet everything about the Bradys is entirely captured in the 1960s aesthetic, and yet the houses next door are clearly in that 90s grunge aesthetic. So it's really a fun couple of films. And then my favorite thing, of course, in those movies is where Gary Owens, the actor, well, kids, sometimes you got to do what's right. And if you do what's right, you've done the right thing. And he goes on these circular logic tangents in order to lecture his kids about any single thing. Hey, Adam Lower's joined us. Good morning, afternoon, Adam. So anyway, I wanted to capture some of the aesthetic of memory and thinking about a show like the Brady Bunch, because that's really what it comes down to when somebody suggests something as simple as horror monsters as the Brady show. The first thing that starts happening is that creatively I sit down and I start thinking about aspects of there's the visual elements of the Universal Monsters, and of course, because of familiarity, with the Universal Monsters, each the stylistic approach of each film and each character. But then there's the Bradys, and you start thinking a little more deeply about the Bradys. So, and the way that I'm approaching this is when I'm looking at it in my headspace and trying to think about both of those different aspects, there's this sort of running dialogue that goes through your noggin, and that's things like, it's about these two parents that each had 3 kids of their own. That's part of the theme song, of course. And hey, welcome aboard, Dee Dee. I'm sorry you had so much difficulty this morning in your cast, because that was really unfair. But I am very excited about what you presented, yeah, I think I might want to take part in that if I'm allowed. So in my memory, in the searching of there she is. If in the searching of the ideas of what is going on with the Brady Bunch show, my quick Cole's notes of trying to remember the show, when you apply that to the visual aesthetic of the Universal monsters as you're trying to put this together, and the weird little things about the Brady Bunch show. But then when we get to as I hopefully carry the viewer around the left side of the page through the text, and then scoop them up into the right corner and back down again through the direction set up by the text boxes. What starts with remembering this show as a kid, and then when I get into the visual elements of it, it's just the Universal monsters instead. But still trying to basically give a rather dark interpretation of all the characters. Although Magical Helper Meatloaf Maker is my favorite one to describe Alice / Igor. So I had fun with this. But at the end, when I say, do you remember that show? Clearly nobody remembers the lunatic thing that I'm presenting. But that's the fun part of doing these things. And if explaining the jokes sometimes dispels the magic, I'm sure. But at the same time, that creative journey, that creative process, the thing I was talking about at the start about, trending art direction isn't real. This is what I'm talking about. You got to follow your own weird bent in whichever way it takes you. And I feel like my reinterpretation of the Brady thing is my own. Hopefully, drawing lots of kooky monsters. Oh, I'm missing stuff here. Everybody's saying hi. Oh, that's so awesome. I love it. Dee Dee says, please do. Oh, yes. Excellent. Dee Dee, I want to have you on here sometime. If we can figure out a time for that, that would be fantastic if you would join me on the stream. I'd really enjoy that. Philip has said, for Halloween, I made these Universal Halloween monsters, basically bean-shaped heads and just kind of silly. I remember those, Philip. Those were fun. They really were. I saw a bunch of those visuals that you'd done. I really got a kick out of those. Yeah, you got to do your own bent. That's fantastic, and they were super cool. Yeah, it was fun. It's totally fun, and it was very, very much a Philip thing, because there's that. I'm noticing a visual language, because as you become more and more exposed to each other's work, you start to see their visual language. You start to hear that tune of their how they work and their stylistic approach, and that that way they sing their song. And those bean things really helped me out. Yeah, they were on Instagram. That's where I saw them, Philip. That's exactly where I saw those. Big drink. Anyways, so my what do we got here? Dee Dee says, I made college pumpkins for Halloween, pumpkin shaped, or collage. I'm so sorry, Dee Dee. Collage pumpkins for Halloween, pumpkin shaped. Nice. I like that. Are you talking about applique onto actual pumpkins, or are you talking about crafted pumpkins with collage images throughout it? Pumpkin shape probably denotes the second. That's awesome. I love that. My brain went into overdrive after I watched Dee Dee's stream this morning. I've been up since 5:30, and And her stream came out. I'm like, yes, I'm early enough for Dee stream. But the stamping project, which if anybody needs to know, I'm not going to do it justice here. So if anybody needs to know what the stamping project that Dee started outlining to people today, please go and check out today's stream from Dee. And it's going to cut in and out. People are going to be, constantly concerned about the camera cutting, the stream cutting in and out because there was just a problem with the signal today. But all the information's there, right? And it looks like a super fun project. So much so that it made me realize I tried to go and buy linoleum cutters the other day, and because my old blades are all right, and so I try to go and find nibs. I clearly have to order them online now, but because I wanted to start making some stamps, as I was inspired by Dee and some of these stamper ladies that I've met through her stream, and yeah, couldn't find any at the local art supply stores. So, watching her stream this morning made me realize, oh, for heaven's sakes, I've got wood chisels and wood carving tools. So why don't I just make stamps on blocks of wood? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make wood block stamps. Very, very, very exciting. But it's a fun project of sending 10 stamped images in to Dee, and then she's going to divest them amongst all these different people that are taking part. So, woohoo! Okay, so here's yesterday's page. This is oh, that's very nice, Dee, of course. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Carving stamps is fun. Yes, something that I don't think enough people consider today. Everything's too easy to be accommodated, right? Too many alternative processes to just get stamps more readily made. And power to it, for yay to modern technology, but at the same time, come on, there's fun in getting yourself dirty and making a mess. Big thumbs up. Yeah, all right. Okay, so here is this morning's page, and well, I say this morning because I did it at 1 a.m. There's yesterday's, and here's today's. And so what it is I drew all of the images on a sheet of paper. I needed one more little piece of room, so I used the reverse side of the page. I scanned all these, and I put them into the page and restructured them, and had to add some details to some of the panels, and had to just little fiddly bits and playing around and stretching some lines to make sure everybody fit nicely in the box. And so I was quite pleased with that. And then I did some photo manipulation stuff on the left-hand side to get a station wagon, a house, which I used a castle for because it's Universal Monsters, and the staircase from the set, which was a little too covered up by the lettering, but hey, you can do what you're going to do. So yeah, I'm pleased with that. And I've got a couple of pages done in addition to that on one of the jobs that I'm doing for somebody. So I'm happy with that. And in addition, I've scanned a whole bunch of the pages that I drew before I started getting into posting stream of conceitedness pages and Village Haunted pages. Now, I retooled all of the stream of conceitedness pages for volume 1. That's the first 32 pages. And I've put the logo of Stream of Conceitedness on every page because, as inspired by some of the advice that you guys are giving me online, I'm going to set it up on one of these blog sites. So it'll be entry, entry, entry. So each page will have the Stream of Conceitedness logo on it. And each page will be like it's an autonomous little mini story point or single page story point. But then when you read through all of them, it's, of course, the journey and adventure of the core character. So, yeah, I just have to figure out which one to put it on. But it also sets the format the same format as I'm using for the one-page comics, the landscape format. My first one-page comic book that I put out last year is, for anyone that doesn't know, I'll switch cameras for a sec. Oh, this magical technology. Last year's is in a portrait setup, so it's fairly different. That's the original page. It's just an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, which has been, yeah, it was a thin piece of paper. So it's left some marks to work in ballpoint on that. But so yeah, so last year's book was in this format, and this year's book is going to be in the landscape format with a hardcover cover, I'm sorry, on it. So that's exciting stuff. Okay, so one-page suggestions that we've got right now. I've got some interesting ones. There's Trapped in an Alien Spaceship with No Signs of Life. And these are some of the leftover ones that I'm talking about. There's Whales are leftover biological spaceships for an alien species. So I make these notes, and sorry about the flaring out. Hey, it's Jim Luan, everybody. Hey, Jim, welcome aboard, sir. So the whales are leftover biological spaceships for an alien species is a crazy idea that is written down from forever ago. There's a person in a house that everyone knows is haunted. Why can't anyone hear them? You know, so there's a number of person with water powers, but only the ability to desalinate water. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, and then some wild ones like power absolute is silent inoculation and acceptance within. I don't know who gave me that one, but you know. First time we discover an alien race, it's us. Way to go. Siddle at the end of time. So there's a lot of different ideas that I can kick on, unless anybody is feeling so inspired that they've got a one-page idea that they've been wanting to tell me. But this is me just trying to catch up on set. And then, of course, my favorite, haunted bow tie. Anyone that wears it kills. Yes, that's a bear in a boat. A magic car that always crashes into anything that looks like a target. Some of these are bonkers. Yeah. Okay. So I think old stink eye. It's not an idea. It's just something to say. All right. So yeah, I think I'll just get cracking. Never forget Courtney Love foils the JFK assassination. All right, that's what we're doing. Is she going to show up in the Zapruder film? How are we going to go about this? Is anybody going to be upset that All right, we got to get it in the book. I didn't have that written down, Jim. I'm sorry for that. Oh, Jim just saw my note. Oh, no, it didn't show up on camera. That's good. That's my big note, Jim. I got to do that recording. It's been a busy weekend. So, where's a good spot? Here's a good spot. Courtney Love foils the JFK assassination. All right, so it's down in the book. Woohoo! Has anybody else got any one-page suggestions before I get crack-a-lacking on today's thing? If you do, feel free to spit them at me like hot fire. I'm just pulling up an image here of JFK. Oh, no, JFK. That's close. It is, okay, that's a nice picture. It is creepy how many pictures there are online of of that fella getting shot. That's not very nice. It's not very nice. Okay, is there any medium of choice? A weapon of choice, as I like to call it. Is there anything that hey Chris, why don't you work with crayons? Why don't you work with crayons? All right. Gigantic crayon. I've got my song of choice today is my album of choice is Close to the Edge by the band Yes. So I don't know if that's your bag or not, but that song is insane. Okay. All right. I want to play. I want to play a little bit with some mixed media silliness, and just to throw some different smash some different things together. Just because we can. Yeah, I'm having a really productive day, and because I got up as early as I did, it's a garbage day, and my wife had to go to pick up her mom to take her to the doctor's appointment. So at 6:30. Yes is Jim's brother Steve's all-time favorite band. Nice. Has that left an indelible stain on the band for you? Because sometimes when your siblings like something, it makes us go, no, not me, pal. I'm excited. I've got a thing to go to tonight. Pray tell, what thing? There's an event in downtown London today at the gallery that hosts the jam that I do each month, and it's a whole meet and greet for all kinds of creative types, just to make us realize that there's sunlight and there's other people just like you. So it's a convention of troglodytes and trolls, basically. People, zombies marching down the street out of their studios, pens spilling out of their pockets. I'm here for the art talk. Yeah. So we'll see. But I think it's going to be some fun. That's probably not trying to turn out in the camera. So let me see if the red will. Yeah, the red will. All right. I kind of like, I bought a package of these this year, right there. Huh? Oh, yeah. Huh? Sexiest erasers ever. I kind of like trying some different things. Now, I started a list for Gary recently of, and I'm not very good at top 10s or lists, but I've just got this, unending supply of craziness running through my head of referential material. So I started talking about a number of really fantastic sequential media creators that I believe are underlooked, especially contemporarily. A lot of the people that were on that list, I would say, relate to the topic that I posted today about trending arts, more or less creative. In my mind, I think that following trends is less creative, but a lot of these early creators like Kriegstein and Kirby and McKay and Haute Cult and Kenninger, a lot of these people really did play to their own strengths and make their own marks and create stories with their own voice. And I think that it shows in the work having its sort of unique approach, unique outcome. But there's a lot of contemporary people, of course, that do this too. Like there's a guy, Tommy Lee Edwards, who is constantly, he does this thing, and there's probably a greater rhyme or reason to how he's doing it. But as he's drawing, he will transition different colors in his pencil work. And then he's going to work over said pencil work with washes and inks. And but it gives them these little moments, these little interspersed values. And the work that itself, are these picking up, or am I just in the road of the camera? So yesterday I talked about the internalized creative process of, looking up an image and talking about how my brain sort of moves around the structure of the image that I'm looking at as from a source image. But he's interested in that. That's somebody asked me, made a request of, can I example that? And so that's why I did that yesterday. Anyways, I kind of like this. I kind of like the idea of switching tones as you go. It sort of gives it I don't know, just gives it a little bit more something. My favorite band as a teenager, Jim, was when I was a young guy, it was Led Zeppelin. But as I got older, the music just got more and more complex. And I mean, of course, all the things of the time and place of there's that cultural thing where you end up liking or listening to a lot of the stuff that's popular in its day because social engagement, right? But I used to generally find the weird stuff. Not so much as a friend of mine that I grew up with named Sean. That guy, everybody knows that person that's always at the front of the line for he's just the guy that knows the weirdest things. And he's the one that is, no matter what, you want to try to bring him something and say, hey, check this out. He's already got it. Right? There's a song that he really liked, and I could not stand it. It was They Might Be Giants. Put your head in the puppet's head. Put your hand in the puppet's head. It's like, that is the most obnoxious and annoying song. And, as you get older and then you hear it, you don't think anything of it. But at the time, oh my goodness, I didn't get it. But my musical tastes are probably a lot more square than his for sure. But things like the Sugar Cubes, and those are things that really stood out to me. So there's some liberation to putting your pencil marks down in different colors. That's for sure. So anyways, the person that I'm emulating here at this point is, this is something that Tommy Lee Edwards does when he's drawing his compositions. And whether he has plans in advance of this or not, I don't know. But I thought, I really want to try this. I really want to explore this a little bit more. And I don't know that he's necessarily the person that's created this approach to drawing or not, but I just find that in assembling your image, when you use a couple of different values, a couple of different colors in your initial layout for your image, whether or not you're going to put watercolor wash or ink wash over top of it, by having these different values, and I've got a red, a brown, and a blue is what I'm principally using. It's sort of getting this interesting differentiation of depth. I feel like, anyways. I don't for others, but Jim says, I got into 60s and 70s through my siblings and 80s by myself. I'm the youngest of 5. Siri, by 9 years. Your siblings are all 9 years older than you. Oh boy. That's all right. Then you can get your siblings to have to drive you places. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what benefits there would be. I was a stereotypical middle child of 3. Absolutely by the book. All the photos are me with my head down, looking all disenfranchised at the moment. How are you today? I got called Chrissy all the time when I was little. Just, that's my sister and my mother, and the core of my family. That's what they called me. And how are you today, Chrissy? Fine. Just such a contradiction of this silly little way of being addressed, coupled with the fact that I'm this always in my head. One of the artsy-fartsy types, thinky, too munchy. Well, I'm hoping I'm doing a good enough rendition of your former president, Americans. Great thing about blue and brown work together is that in the various combinations and various iterations, if you overlap these two values together, they can produce some rather nice, really, really nice grays and blacks. There's a part of me that's restraining myself because I want to have him hanging over the side of the car throwing a banana. I don't know why. I just do. I can't quite explain where my head goes sometimes, but yeah, my fellow Canadians, see, can't help it. My fellow Americans, a banana. So I'm using one of those shots of him glad handing everybody or waving at everybody as he drives by in the car. I'm not doing a shot of him getting hurt in a car because the idea is that Courtney Love is going to save him. This is you can see how much I've been drawing in ink of late. So I'm keen to hear what everybody's up to. I hope that Mr. Luan, who doesn't mind this, but there's a very exciting announcement coming out of Jim. I believe it's this weekend. And I'm quite excited for that. I'm very excited that Jim has asked me to be a part of something, one of his projects. Very, very, very honored. I hope that's picking up. Anyhow, pay attention for that announcement this weekend. And then Philip and Frank have a project on the go, I believe. I think Adam's involved with that as well. They got an anthology they were putting together. I hope that is coming along well. So I'm just trying to get down I'm using the brown as a sort of running value through the image, and then hitting moments with the reds and the blues in order just to punch a little bit of emphasis in here. We'll listen to some prog rock. You gotta find your inspiration wherever it is, right? Again, I said this earlier, but I'm going to say it again. I really appreciate the engagement with people and some of the fun ideas that we've been getting in, and some of the interaction stuff, some of the fantastic Yeeowchs. Oh, I love the Yeeowchs. There we go. That's feeling good. What do we got? So we got maybe have an old reel to reel as part of the piece. That's a lot of fun, Didi. I'm going to put that down. Reel to reel. We used to make massive reel to reel recordings for dances that my friends and I would be having in the 80s. We'd have all these songs recorded on a giant reel to reel, so nobody had to stop dancing or changing the music. It was very very silly fun. Used to do a lot of cool things with that gang. Make our own movies and teleportation movies. Stuff like that. Record our own rock band videos, our favorite groups. Pretty silly. I like that a lot, Dee Dee. I'm definitely going to try to incorporate the reel-to-reel image in here. I want to be careful with how the approach is to this, because Gary is doing some absolutely wonderful things with D versus M. And, I'm afraid that if I do it like an FBI report, I don't want to do that. That's my point. I don't want to do it like an FBI report because, or an interview in a room, because that's very much some of the stuff that I'm enjoying out of Gary's work right now. So, and if anybody that sees this has an opportunity, please look up D versus M. DVSM is the way it's written down. Gary Hodges, because his 2 books that he's put out already, and he's got a 3rd one coming up, But those two books have got some of the most fantastic conversation that I've read in a comic in some time. I tend to draw really, really lightly with pencil. I tend to just sort of work up to values as opposed to just placing them down. I don't think it's hesitancy. I think it really is a case of just trying to find some softer tones. Because there's oftentimes, it's one of the things I enjoy about the medium, but there's oftentimes where there's just heavy impact medium that I use, and sometimes it's nice to switch to an alternative thing. Jim says, I think we all drew as kids, only we never stopped. Yeah, that's true. I'm a firm adherent to the idea that artists, true people that have absolutely no ability to not make things, it's almost like it's a part of your your health and welfare and stability. Those people are born. Those people aren't made. Those people are. We've been bonkers like that since we were children. Other people could figure out, functioning beyond that. But yeah, definitely, I could see Dee Dee coloring away, crafting away. I don't know if that looks like Kennedy or not. I'm hoping that there's some Kennedy in there, but this event happened the day after my birthday. Not the same year, but November 24th was the day that this fellow lost his life. Judy says, I love the pen and ink artist that I found in the libraries, but never wanted to make comics or sequential art. You just loved it. Nice. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's we get inspiration from all kinds of places, right? Like that's the whole thing. Is that I think that one of the most important things that creative people need to do, if you're a largely visually creative person, is you need to read. It's incredibly important that our thoughts are expanded beyond all of the turmoil going on inside of our noggins, the unending chain of ideas and so forth. It helps also with story and structuring how we understand, different dramatic engagements in our compositions. Not just from books, you can get all kinds of different insights into written visual elements that succinctly because it's text, it'll identifiably establish the most important key elements in a scene that they want you to know. As a reader, they want you to envision those things. That's the visual components that are most important. Don't forget these things. And that's an important thing for us to figure out as artists, is that what do I got to make sure is in the shot? What do I got to make sure is in the environment? Reading books helps that. What do we got? Yeah, reading for sure. Yeah, I think we're all readers, really. Jim says, I'm amazed at Dee Dee's following. YouTube numbers are still something I've yet to figure out. Yeah, I completely understand that. I'm going to have a big, exciting moment pretty soon. And this is going to come off, honestly, it's going to come off as the most ridiculous thing to everybody else. But I'm about to have 100 followers. And that's very exciting. It's 100 neat people. But when I see some of the followers that Dee Dee has and Jim has, everybody else has, I think it's completely legitimate. All these people watching you guys are all very talented. I found out about the whole buying of followers thing. You can pay people and they'll have a bunch of followers numbers on whatever your social platform is. And yeah, it'll be a while before I get to those numbers, but I can understand why people do that, because there's certain functions that you're dislocated from, because you have to have certain numbers of people following you. Like I tried to look into the community thing that Dee Dee had brought up. Is how do I do that? Well, I can't do that until I have 1,000 people. But I think that what do we got? Dee Dee says, I think it's consistency and community. Yeah, you have an absolutely lovely community, Dee Dee. Jim, of course, agrees. He's the same quality person. I never paid for any followers either. No, I wouldn't think you had. Oh yeah, Jim agrees. He can tell your channel's so organic. It really is. I can't get over how much people care about one another. It's to say I don't believe, I can't believe people care about each other at all. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that there's a definite enthusiasm and engagement between people. Oh, hi, so-and-so. Hi, such and such. It's not, Dee Dee, you always try to say hi to everybody if you can that comes out, but the people that are in your stream in the chat, they're all trying to say hi to each other, which is what I'm referring to. That's so incredible. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, one of my objectives for this year, because Lori, said, yeah, have you set some goals for yourself? No, they're gonna color some pictures. One of my objectives for this year is to try to have invite more people to come on here and hang out and work together or talk about process together, and to engage with others on their shows, or I don't know what to call the stream. I call it my stream. Said that in front of one of my kids the other day, in front of somebody they know, and they turned to their friend and said, "Yeah, Dad has a stream." Hi. Yeah, that's a fun approach, the 3 pencil crayons in hand approach. I like it. Now, mind you, people like Tommy Lee Edwards, I mean, he's using whatever colors he needs to use for whatever specific element in his composition as he goes. So he's thinking about all his color values and their application. on the next stage as he's drawing it. So, whereas I'm just rooting down to 3. Didi says, I'm big on wanting others to succeed. It shows, Didi. It is very much appreciated. And encourage everyone to try something creative. Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. All right. So I'm not going to do the whole car scenario setup. I'm really primarily focused on this tight shot of, the happy waving as he goes by. Just because I want to keep it contained to a panel, not for it to overtake the entire page. Judy says, I'm blessed with good hubs. It encourages me too. Not everyone has that in their family. No, and yet that's a similarity that I'm noticing in a lot of people that are engaging here with one another in the larger social group of people that I'm having the real gift of being able to get to know, is that I think many of us have pretty cool partners. And no, not to leave anybody out, not to, make anyone feel bad that, is not in that situation. But I'm just saying that I find that that's a large trait amongst this group, that there's quite a few people like that, which is really nice. Judy says, I'm sure you have the same with your wife. She seems very encouraging towards my work. Yeah, I can never sing Lori's praises enough. I really can't. I'm very blessed. I'm keen on her. She's very. It was when I had my DKA in 2021. It was Lori that had made the decision for me to, that's enough of doing what I was doing. Go get in the studio. That's I want to clone her for everybody. But you can't ever. She's mine. I think that's coming together. Jim has all these animated friends, and Gary has aliens. Yeah, I had the chance to meet Jim's wife. She's very nice. Yeah. All right. So I've got. It's the same thing I talked about yesterday. You really want to find that root image of your character. I feel like this is a pretty good root image of this fella. And now I've got to come up with the root image of Courtney Love. And, if there are any big fans and of either of these individuals, I'm probably going to upset somebody. Courtney Love is not going to look in the best of shape. Some of the things that you don't realize you're going to use later in your drawing life in your creating career there. I do a lot of contouring when I'm drawing. I tend to do a lot of this where you'll see me put a whole line down that follows abstractly, and it's actually following along the top of a car and drawing all of its elements on this side, but not drawing any on the opposite side. But what that allows me is to be able to make sure that the scaling for the image, the scale of one character to the next, is all following through here. All right. Yeah, it's nice when you can establish a support network, and it doesn't necessarily have to be, your partner per se, or it just find somebody that you can engage in a consistent level with, that not only stands by and says, "Hey, do your thing," but has the ability for that conversation, those long conversations that we tend to have in our own heads in our creative process. I find that a good supportive person beside you is usually the one that can pull you out of your head or help you answer some of those creative questions that are going off inside your noggin. And that's usually when, as artists, writers, whatever, musicians, the moment they say, "What are you thinking about?" and you're, and you throw so much information at them that they really don't need any of that information. Take it easy at them. For goodness sakes. All right, I'm leaning heavy into the brown and the blue combination. Let's get some of this red in here. Here's an exciting thing that I have got my weight. This is going to sound ridiculous, and I apologize, and I don't in any way mean this in a bragging kind of way. But I'm a large person, and I haven't weighed less than 300 pounds in 25 years. And because I'm, gorilla sized and a broad bugger, but I am below 300 for the first time in a long, long time. And I'm shrinking. So I'm kind of happy. I'm kind of excited about that. This means I can start to, I don't know, maybe even buy normal size things. Like most bikes don't bear over, like bicycles don't bear over 250 pounds. You got to buy specific bikes for that. So maybe one day that dream will happen. It won't, but I say it won't because, but my frame, I can't be less than, I can't be that low. I've got a recording in my ear right now that has Yes covering Simon and Garfunkel. Never thought that would ever be a case. All right. Feeling good how this is coming along. So back to the point that I made at the start of everything. I notice a lot of trending repetitive topics that I'm trying to pursue and exploring and learning more about Photoshop and more capabilities. I disclosed the other day that I found out what the magic lasso tool does. I've just been reticent to touch some new things in the program, and I feel comfortable enough at this point to just go for stuff. But I had no idea what you could do with the lasso tool or the magic tool until this last week. Now I'm out of control. It's out of control. I like that. I like when you find things and they expedite your process. What I was referring to earlier, though, about the creative process is it's got to be natural. It's got to be organic. Here we go. I like that comment. Thanks, Jim. Dee Dee says, I like listening to vids, streams, etc. while working rather than music. I find music changes my emotions, and I like staying level while working. Just me. I find myself really productive with music in my head rather than like I used to just play like TED Talks and the like, and but I found that I kept stopping and going, oh, okay, and I had to sort of pull that out for a little while and allow myself to just listen to some tunes. I find more energetic music makes me work faster. Certain classical musics are far more advantageous to listen to than others. And then, like I said, I like complicated bands like Yes or Radiohead or just people that really explore the landscape in their music. Pixies. It's a diverse range, that's for sure. Gotta have fun. You gotta enjoy whatever you're doing. But yeah, it's important that we all stick to what helps to fuel our creative journey and doesn't disrupt it, doesn't offset it. Like for me, I'm playing classical music regularly in the house, and stationed out of the San Diego, I think it is, KCSO, and then another channel I like that's from San Francisco. San Francisco is KABL. Ding ding, it's on the dial. This is a great streaming channel because it plays every song where everybody's ever mentioned San Francisco is played in this rotation, and throughout the course of a week. And so you're always inevitably going to hear, I left my heart, and then the other thing about it is that it's so all over the place, clearly easy listening, and yet no real timetable to it. So you'll hear stuff from the 30s immediately followed up by like something from the 60s, and I think it's fun. But they always play the old commercials from KBL over the last however many years. Dee says, when I listen to music, I live from my past. It puts me into that time frame. Concerts I went to, etc. Oh yeah, that would distract you for sure. Yeah, I completely agree with that. I tend to not play old albums I've known. I tend to play albums that I didn't explore as much back in the day. I'll try albums that I don't know. Or lately, I have been listening to soundtracks, and I really like Kano. Kano she's a composer in Japan, and she was the composer for. Let me think. I think she was a composer for Cowboy Bebop. But her compositions, her music is very jazz fusion and with different voices. And because I don't speak Japanese, whenever she has vocalists on some of these pieces, it doesn't engage my head like trying to listen to lyrics because I don't speak Japanese. So there's something fun to that. Didi is very live in the now. Live in the now! I like music, just not while I'm working. Yeah, completely understand that. I got used to all kinds of distractions around me at all the time because for years of trying to work while, kids at home growing up. And it's funny the amount of things you can get done even when you've got somebody pulling on your arm or, that's why Corbin makes up for it all now with his carrying on. It's no different than when the kids were little. What are we at? 112. I'll go 130, and but I'll get this panel wrapped up. So next I'm going to do an image with Courtney loving it and try to get a good rendition of her going. And start structuring together my thoughts on the story. That's the fun part of this, is that the story tends to come together in my head as I'm working. Didi says that she can listen to people talking all day. That's why I play live streams in the background. Oh, yeah. Somebody I get a kick out of listening to as I'm working is Sabine Hassenfelder, and she's a physicist, and she's always talking about modern technological movement and different theorem, and explores different ideas. But she's very Austro-German. I'm not sure. She has a wonderful way of expressing humor, and it's so dry. Her jokes are so dry, but they land, but they're so dry, and it's like that cliche of the the nerdy academic tries to tell a joke and oh wow, and everyone else goes oh. But I think because of her audience base, she's a life of a party. But I think if you were to try some of her jokes, she had, I'm trying to think of one. I just watched one on Cold Fusion, and she landed one that it was like, oh man, that's bad, because it's like bad puns or bad references. Desperately wish I could remember it. Oh, Malcolm says that he likes Sabine. He's been watching her for a few years. Hey, how you doing, Malcolm? Salty, salty. Yeah, that's fantastic. She has definitely got some absolutely brilliant insight. It's fun to work with a limited palette. Yeah, I'm going to try to be respectful in this page. I'm going to try to, I don't want to, I don't want to have people upset that I've had their favorite president say something untoward. So, but it's a fun idea. Trying to think what the angle is. How does Courtney Love foil the Kennedy assassination? How does she do it? It's an interesting dilemma. The creature from the Black Lagoon actor died. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, but I had no idea anybody was still alive. Well, yeah, that's sad news. I'm sorry to hear that, but that's a full life. That's a long life lived. I had no idea that anybody was still in the world. Because we're talking about largely the 30s, 40s. Putting a window in there. He was 93 years old, Malcolm says. Wow. Good job. Yeah, people can live long lives, that's for sure. My mother's family is quite a few individuals that lived well into their 90s and 100. Hey, it's Raul. How you doing? My grandparents were actually married for 72 years because they both lived to be so old. It is JFK, Raul. It's there you go. Welcome aboard. It's the page that I'm working on is Courtney Love foils the JFK assassination. The question is, does she hit somebody with her base? How does it happen? How will she stop it? Wow, that's amazing. Oh, that's very nice of you, Ronald. Thank you very much. It's oh, that's nice. That's very nice. Yeah, I like that. That's very sweet. You keep coming back. Keep coming back for more. So for those tuning in late, I was talking earlier about less about following trends and more about following your own creative energy. It's something I try to advocate to people. Don't worry about whatever the hot thing is. Don't worry about AI. Worry about your journey, your growth, your self-improvement. That's far more interesting to people around you. They want to see what you're doing. So don't worry about all this fuss. Don't worry about having to draw all the Marvel superheroes because you've always wanted to do comics. Well, you don't have to draw all that junk to to make comics. He had a nice smile, that guy. Says, I will take a break from uploading. We'll transition from chibi style to more serious drawing. Chibi style is too competitive theme style. Didn't get a lot of views, so switch up gears and do something else. Whatever you feel compelled to do is going to be yours, right? If you're drawing chibi style because it's something that you enjoy, then lean into that aesthetic that you add to it. Lean into the way you're putting down marks and the way that you're telling your images, so that it's clearly distinctly yours. It's still, there's some rooting, of course, in that genre. I'm not entirely familiar with chibi style, forgive me for that, but I think it's the cute people, like a cute big-headed animations. I think that's what was chibi style, if I'm not mistaken. But lean into whatever the different way you do it is. There's nothing to say that you can't do a genre or a take. Oh, thank you, Ro. There's nothing to say that you can't have your involvement with a genre, your take on something, your engagement in a uniform drawing style that many other people use. But what's more important is that you come at it from you. And if that means you draw in whatever different materials you feel compelled towards, if you add elements to it that maybe other people don't necessarily do, whatever it is, explore it to make it yours. That's how you'll stand out, right? Put your own spin on it. Put your own stylistic approach to it. Now, that's hard to do when everybody expects all of the types of drawings to look a certain way. But at the same time, like, it's hard to have variations on the Smurfs without making them not Smurfs, right? But that's a challenging thing, right? But you have to find some autonomy. You have to find an autonomous voice within the larger confines of whatever genre or stylistic approach that you're taking. And I think you fully have the capability to do that, Ro. I do tend to make friends, but I also want to make a living on it. Maybe it's a Gen Z of me. Well, then pursue tasks and jobs. Look for submission things, submission periodicals, and wherever you live in the region. You can find lists of those online. Look for submissions to all kinds of anthologies or things. If you draw chibi, that's one thing, but maybe you learn to do animatics, or maybe you learn to do sequential panels, sequential storytelling with your chibis. Maybe there's one step beyond that you can take it that the average chibi illustrator can't do, that opens up further avenues for you, like illustrating books, like illustrating comics, and doing so in a chibi style. Wouldn't it be fun to see a chibi G.I. Joe book? I don't know, but there's got to be something that you're going to do and you're going to apply yourself to and develop a sort of side set of skills, like all the stages that are involved in sequential storytelling, in comics per se, or in animation or whatever else, that you'll pick up on. And this is just an example. And of course, this is an example I'm using because of what I do, but or use your illustrations of chibi characters and figure out a way to shoot stop motion films with them, right? Or figure out with the paper cutouts and different mouth shapes on them so that it looks like they're all talking and having a ball. There's a million ideas, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be one of the herd and one of the same as everybody else. And I think that'll open up more avenues for income. It's a great idea. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Chibi style, all things trending in pop culture. Well, there you go. But take it further. Don't just do. I think the larger competitive market of chibi things is just pinup market. Get into something. Take it one step further. One step beyond. Didi says, I like some AI art. You can tell it's AI, but it's like walking into a cool video game. Yes, indeedly do. I don't mind looking at some AI art images of reinterpretations of X or Y, or I think that some of the funny superhero, overweight or aged superhero images that pop up in the Instagram feed are pretty funny. I think that there's definitely something to that. But if I see, but I'll look at the AI person's channel. I've been doing this. I'll look at their channel, and if there's a divergence of stylistic approach, and I don't mean like okay, I'm a lunatic that consistently changes stylistic approach, but there's still an inherent voice that you can tell it's the same person singing all those songs, right? Using all those different mediums. I have a very clear, this is how Chris draws. But at the same time, I'll look at these AI sites, and if I see that this one is highly cartoonish, and then this one is very much that round, cool video game aesthetic, and then this one is clearly taking from Geiger, I won't follow. I won't look at those people's works. I'll block those ones. And the reason that that's the only real distinction I'm making about it is that when you have such specified differentiation of form and style, you are clearly plumbing from sources, and sources more than just a broad consensus source, but specifically there will be artists mixed in those that don't know that their work is mixed in those. And so because it's so very specific and stylized, so I'll stay away from those ones. That's my only kind of conviction I have about all of that. I don't feel challenged by AI art because by the time it has real, true, lasting impact in the larger market, I probably, I'll be 125 by then. By the time it really makes such a thing, because people are still going to do what people are going to do. It's the only thing that's going to change truly the creative endeavors of makers from being pushed out by, the AI or the like is when we can stop finding things to work with, right? As soon as there's enough restriction, like I just said, I tried to find lino cutter nibs this weekend, and I could not find any in town. I have to order them online. I checked 3 art stores. There's one at the opposite side of the city, but that's a 25-minute drive. But I just want lino cutters, and if there's any linoleum to work, like little pieces to work from, that'd be great, because I want to get engaged in some of the stamping stuff. That go look at Dee Dee's channel, go look at her stream. She talks all about this cool, fun project. And it's also kind of a fun thing that other people will be getting something that you've done too. That's kind of neat. That's why I like shared opportunities like that, is that it might be a way for you to engage with a creator that you enjoy. I like that. Happy lunch, everybody. I had a spinach chorizo with rice and cucumber. Amazing combination. Philip is making lunch now. Philip, what are we having? Yeah, I'm going to promote this this project as much as I can, Dee Dee. And at the same time, I'm also going to promote a big announcement coming out of the one, the only Mr. Jim Luan. Coming up this weekend. Watch for it. All the cool kids will be there at the back of the bus. He's going to make the announcement. He's going to become a professional wrestler. We're having a dance contest in my backyard. Everybody drive down here. I don't know what the announcement's going to be. I'm very excited. Yeah, it's I'm really, really excited about it as well, Didi. It's a big fan of his work. I'm doing some voice stuff. I get to be bowling announcers. Learning bowling terms. Yep. Watching bowling on YouTube and the like. Some interesting characters in that world. Philip says, I'll make a sandwich spread with avocado and blended chickpeas. Mmm. I had a sandwich earlier too. It involved 2 pieces of bread. I smeared mayonnaise on them and slammed lunch meat in them. There's no thought processes that go on in this head when I'm making something to eat. There's nothing going on there. I don't like avocado because it's green. No, I just my daughter eats avocado and stuff. And you want some avocado? No. I don't want it. It's yucky. I don't want to try it. No. I close my mouth and I close my eyes. I regress and become a 5-year-old child. No, it's yucky. Yeah. That's how I roll. That's why my friends call me Mr. Whiskers. I got nothing. All right. Well, I'm pretty pleased with how the Kennedys come in together. It's a fun page idea that's been suggested for today. It forces me to have a slightly different approach to my way of thinking to get these characters down, to get the situation down, and to do so with allowing the progression of the story to go as it's going to go. But I also don't want to offend everybody, and having Kennedy jump up out of the car and do a hip dance to dodge bullets. I'm not going to do anything like that. So what does Philip say? Philip says, I'm vegetarian, so, okay, that makes sense. I grew up Presbyterian. I'm disappointed in myself. I used to not eat avocado, but also learned to enjoy the creamy Spanish avocado. It sounds very seductive. I only eat the creamy Spanish avocado grown in the fields of Spain, harvested by none other than Antonio Banderas. Ah, yes, Antonio. I did a page of one of the suggestions I had last year that's in the first one-page comic extravaganza. It's called, Ah, yes, Too Sexy. It's Antonio Banderas. It's just Antonio Banderas is too sexy. That was the whole suggestion. So I dodge the bullets. I bring the guns. Yeah, it's silly. It's so silly. Antonio Banderas is Puss in Boots. Is that right? I didn't know that. Trying to be vegetarian in January, can't leave meat and fish, but considering to be pescatarian. Love fish. That's awesome. Yeah, one of my kids is I don't know, vegetarian or vegan. I don't know which one it is, but I am not. I tend not to eat a lot of meat, but that's because Lori says I shouldn't. Let's be honest. It's my awesome, wonderful, powerful, supportive partner that encourages whatever my food decisions are. She made a shepherd's pie last night that has so far worked for me for 3 meals. JFK dancing and dodging the bullets is hilarious, but too soon? I don't know if too soon really applies for things. They have copious amounts of images of that man being shot on internet searches. That's brutal. I'm trying to draw a picture of him where he isn't being physically harmed. So, but the amount of you just type in his name and the amount of pictures you get of his death is just terrible. There's all kinds in this world we live in, all kinds. I have a very English. Diet style, you know. My food decision tonight is pizza. There you go. Nice. I believe for dinner tonight I'll have shepherd's pie. Because Lori's not going to be home for dinner, and there's shepherd's pie in the fridge. Decided. It'll be prepared for me lovingly by my little friend that I call the microwave. Do you know that pineapple on pizza was invented in a town called Chatham, which is about 45 minutes away from London, here in Ontario? I went to the restaurant that proudly boasts the fact that they're the maniacs that first started putting pizza or pineapple on pizza in the 50s. And a lot of people claim that as to be sacrilege. I don't think the pineapple means to hurt anybody's feelings. You don't put pineapple on pizza, buddy. I don't put anything on pizza. I don't eat pizza. Double pepperoni and jalapeno. I know it says jalapeno. I know that. I like pineapple on pizza, but fish on pizza is a no-no for me. Especially like it's a bass, like just the whole fish right on top like that. Awkward because it looks at you. Anyways. Yeah, you can always tell the city person because when they go out someplace and they're served fish and it comes not like breaded little pieces you get out of a box, but when it's a piece of fish, like a proper fish, it's always fun to watch the expressions of, oh, it's a big fish. It's looking at me. It's so great. It's so fun. I get the occasional panzerotti, and my panzerotti has beef and mushrooms and pepperoni and beef. whole fish on pizza. Sounds like a one page. Yeah, that's a fun one. That's a fun one. Is that a suggestion? Didi, are you suggesting I put that in the book? Because I'll put it in the book. Yeah, it's a bit of a long process driving pencil crayon, I think. But okay, it's going in a book for Didi. Here we go. Whole fish on pizza. Didi Willingham. I pronounce your name Willingham. I don't know if you pronounce the H. You punch the H or not, but I say it. A lot of very English habits here in Ontario, Canada. It's not how we say it's Ontario, Canada, but never run out of one-page ideas. No. There's no such thing. I think that just the whole idea of one-page suggestions, I don't understand the whole. I don't have an idea for one. What? Ah. There's no ham like a Willingham. There's a reason I started signing my name. Like, I'll show you really quick. There's a reason that I started doing this in all of my one pages. Down in the bottom corner here, by run-c-man. The reason that I did that is I get so many variations on pronouncing really is kind of a basic name, Run C-I Man. I still get so many variations on that. Scott is so funny. He hesitates so much on my last name and says at least 2 different versions of it every time he says it. Scott Circland. But Runciman. So that's why I wrote it as I wrote it, and I post that on each different color variations of those on each of the one-page comics. That's sort of my signature, my brand, I guess now. So, but it allows people to understand how I sign my name. And I don't think I've ever met a Runciman that does what I do. So I've actually never met a Runciman. So just the ones that my siblings and my mother and my father. That's it. That's the only Runcimans I've ever met since I was a child. But yeah, you want to talk about sacrilege? I use dairy-free cheese and the Beyond Meat toppings. LOL. And then Didi says, haha, Philip, I suppose I support letting everyone eat what they want. Just don't go all cannibals on us. Okay, Didi. All right, that's enough of that. This is Mind Reading Powers 101, Didi Willingham. That's the page. That's another page that I was working on today. Don't go all cannibals on us, Didi says. I don't know if you read the really tiny print at the top of the screen there, if you just got mind powers, Didi. Mind powers. Mind powers only come with one eye like this. But this is a page that I'm putting together right now. As soon as I finished this one today, I jumped right over to just started doing this one. It's there's, like I said, there's a number of these one-page comics that I did in the portrait style that I just never finished, and so this is one that I'm finishing now. So yeah, it's funny that you bring up cannibals. Oh, thank you. That's very nice, Earl. Don't go cannibal, Philip. Don't do it, buddy. It'll crimp your weekend. Crimp your style. Crimp it. Not cramp it. Crimp it. That's for Gary. All right. Yeah, so I think I got a good start on Kennedy here. There's different things I want to try with this page. Because what I'm going to want to do, what I'm going to try to do here, and let me find an old scrap of paper. Well, I got my book right here. There's all kinds of paper in here. Anyways, so what I'm going to try to do with this page is that, like Didi put forward a really fun idea of film strips. I put film strips on lots of stuff. But the shot of Kennedy is going to be there, no pun intended. And then I'm going to have, so my thought is to have Courtney Love come running up with her bass guitar, and it's either going to be one of two things. It's going to be, I'm debating on this because I haven't drawn any of this yet, but this is the conception point, right? It's either she's going to stop the bullets being fired from the grassy knoll, okay, right? Under the assumption that all the shots came from the grassy knoll. She's either going to stop those with her bass guitar, or she's going to hit the person on the grassy knoll with her bass guitar. Because there's very little that I can do about Oswald. Or maybe I'll have her block Oswald's shot and then wing her bass guitar at the grassy knoll and knock out the second shooter. Because of how much hypothesis there is, how many theories that people have about a gunman on the grassy knoll. So I'm debating that, but that's basically the gist of what this is going to be, is action dynamics of Courtney Love, and then and then there's going to be the punch, the swing back, right? The whole thing about doing all this course of action up top here, where we've got these dramatic action moments. A fun thing to evaluate in the process of creating a page. If you have this much investment into your first action, okay, and in this case it's physical action and it's the whole ricocheting guns or throwing things or throwing instruments in order to foil a plot. Then the second action, of course, is going to be, thank you very much for saving me from those gunmen. And then, of course, Courtney Love being Courtney Love. Does she play rhythm guitar? Okay, it's rhythm guitar. Don't want to use the wrong instrument or spelled rhythm incorrectly. So, yeah. Okay, rhythm guitar. Thank you, Jim. Artistic license would be having her play bongos. I'll stop it. She's bouncing the bullets off the bongos. Yeah. And then I had also considered of having the JFK say, "Thank you very much for saving my life there," and then she'll say, "I'm not the kind of girl who accepts thanks," and then disappears in a puff of smoke. It's literally the only lyric I know from her band Hole is "I'm not the kind of girl," and I can't tell you anything else about that song. Not a Courtney Love guy. I enjoyed Nirvana at the time. I know a lot of people swear by Nirvana, but I was into Fugazi and the Minutemen and things like that at the time for that sort of a coastal scene. So Soundgarden, that was more my jam. Pearl Jam, there you go. Than Nirvana was. That's just me. So I'm going to represent her as being an action maven in the first aspect of the first action here, and then in the second action, I'm going to bring her back to being her disheveled self. So, because I'm a horrible, horrible person. All right. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Thank you very much, Didi, for the thanks, and thank you everybody for coming and jamming. If anybody gets a chance, take a look at Didi's stream from this morning and get involved in that project that she has, and take a look at what Philip's got going on with Frank and some others putting together. She did it, not because it was easy, but because it was hard. Anyways, the other big exciting piece of news, of course, is the excitement is building. The tension is building. Jim Luan has an announcement this weekend. I believe it's on March the 4th. Pay attention. Watch out for that. Subscribe to Jim's channel. Find out when that announcement is going to take place and reel back in the excitement. If you have an opportunity, check out all of Jim's animations. They are fantastic. The only person that I know personally that's actually animated films. That's crazy amount of work. So fantastic. And it's good. I enjoy the heck out of his projects. So that's my exciting stuff for today. My cat loves this. Anyways, that's right. I have one of those things. So I'll be back tomorrow at 2:00. I'll be presenting this, and I might present the food truck for cannibals page 2. I don't know. I might just put that up this weekend. But thanks everybody for hanging out. Keep making your art. Be original. Be you. Follow your own path. Even if you're working in something that's a largely stylized approach to stuff, your voice is the important thing. And I look forward to seeing your work. Keep creating, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for hanging. Take care, Philip.